Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bengal Tiger Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Shea Dixon. Shea, we are here to talk some recruiting and talk about a massive flip in favor of LSU here. So I'll just throw it right over to you. What's the news?
Does it get any bigger? This is one of the biggest flips of the recruiting cycle, and certainly will be for LSU. Kade Phillips, one of the top corners in the country. We've got him at On3 as a top 10 cornerback. His recruiting stock has skyrocketed this offseason. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we're at On3 higher on him than anyone else. He's a top 250 player on most other sites. He's number 164 overall on the On3 industry rankings, but he's knocking on the door of a top 50 overall prospect on On3. And LSU stacked these guys up. But let's talk about it briefly, and then we can expound on it here in a minute. We knew corner was such a need for LSU this cycle, and they had to get guys who could come in and be impact players. And when things started out, I can remember Corey Raymond when he got hired. Jabari Antoine was a commitment at the time, right around that time he got on board. He's now decommitted and gone to Miami. He's a kid out of Westgate in Louisiana. But after that first month, when the board was built, and remember, Corey Raymond was coming from Florida, so he knew who a lot of the top guys were. He was already in on them. And three names came across when I asked around about sources, and it was DJ Pickett, Naeem Alford, who's five-star committed to Ohio State, and Kade Phillips. You fast forward to now, before the season has begun, Matty B, senior seasons or college football season, and two of the three names are on that list are now committed. Two of the top three guys Corey Raymond was after right when he got here and put together his board are now committed. And you've got a five-star number one overall corner on three in DJ Pickett. We remember that one. Everyone said, oh, he's going to go to Oregon or Miami. And we stuck to it. We said, look, Corey Raymond's buckled in here. We think he's headed to LSU. He picks LSU. Then you fast forward beyond that. Kade Phillips picks Texas. He stays in state. The Longhorns get a huge ad there in July. But I talked about it on the podcast, but a lot on the Bengal Tiger site and on the message board and in articles that Corey Raymond and Blake Baker were still in daily contact with Kade Phillips. So for a kid who was committed, he was still at least keeping the door open for LSU. And they kept chipping away. And not even a month later, Matty B, they had done enough to get him flipped and into LSU's class. So this was a debate all over the message boards before they got a commitment from DJ Pickett that why bring Corey Raymond back? These guys, he's not gotten anybody. Where's the corner class? Now you have two of the best corners in the entire country, and both of them say, I'm going there because I want to play and be developed by Corey Raymond. That track record that he put together over a decade at LSU as a secondary coach, all of the guys who went on to the NFL and many who are still in the NFL, that speaks volumes to these guys. And we saw how involved Patrick Peterson got with DJ Pickett. So selling Kade Phillips on playing cornerback, I think really helped swing it. This will go down, I think, as one of the top five commits they get this cycle. I am in love with Kade Phillips as a prospect. I think he's a guy we're going to talk about a ton in the future.
Yeah, great job breaking it all down. Like you said, the incredible thing or the really impressive thing about Corey Raymond here is obviously Pickett from Florida, Phillips from Texas. The Louisiana guy, the Louisiana corner, Jabari Antoine, doesn't even commit to LSU, and he's still in the cycle with, potentially two top 60 players in the country in terms of corners. That just speaks to, like you said, this is what he does. This is what Corey Raymond has done at LSU. This is what he will continue to do. And at a position of extreme need, he has completely checked off the boxes. Like, these are from here on, and obviously, and ending as well and whatnot. Like, there's other players, but you have these two now as your nucleus, and it's hard not to be excited because as much as the upperclassmen that are moving out in terms of defensive backs kind of pave the way now for these guys to come in and I'm not going to say play as freshmen, but obviously come in and help this team right away.
Yeah, look, we can talk about both DJ Pickett and Kade Phillips both saying, hey, look, Corey Raymond played a massive role here. That development, the guys he's put into the NFL, I have faith he can put me on that path. You talk about Louisiana now. If Jabari Antoine, cornerback out of Westgate's committed to Miami. If he's not coming to LSU, the top target has been Aiden Anding out of Ruston, and he's down to Texas, LSU, and Arkansas, is what he's told us. And a quote he gave when talking about LSU was this. He said, scrolling up and down to make sure I get the quote right. He said, with all the players that Raymond has coached and sent to the NFL, he has a chance to develop me into one of the best cornerbacks in the country. Matty B, that almost reads verbatim from what DJ Pickett and Kade Phillips both said. So if you're able to keep this momentum going with an Aiden Anding, you're really having a great corner haul. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's focus on the news of the day, the news of the week, the news of the month, however you want to shape it. To go in July and get DJ Pickett, and then in August get Kade Phillips is massive. And both those guys were on our On3 National Director of Scouting and Recruiting, Charles Power. He's been doing this forever. He put out his future freaks list this year. And both these guys were on it at the cornerback position. And this included every position out there. But Kade Phillips makes it, and he says Phillips has pairs a uniquely translatable frame with outstanding track and field profile, elite length, massive hands, and he's a standout in 3 events, multi-sport guy, and was a state finalist in the long jump. He's above 6 foot. He's already above 185 in high school going into his senior year. Matty B talking about a guy with a 6 foot 8.5 wingspan, hands that are well over 10 inches, 3rd place in the state finals in Texas in the long jump. He's running a 21.5 200. So for the track folks, that's very good. And breaking 50 in the 400, which is grown man behavior. I run down all that. Long, can turn and run, covers well, has the size, has the speed, multi-sport athlete. That's what Corey Raymond writes down, draws up when he looks for a corner. And on that list is also, as we mentioned, DJ Pickett, who has such elite size, 6'4", going into his senior year. He's got a 6 foot 8 wingspan. He's got a 10.6 in the 100. He's got a 21.66 in the 200. So, as Charles said, rare dimensions and athleticism at the corner position for Pickett. The same goes for obviously Kade Phillips. And you've got a guy who's sort of a jumbo corner in DJ Pickett and more of a traditional corner in Kade Phillips. I think they complement each other well. This is why you brought Corey Raymond back, right? You knew he could develop guys. Did he still have those chops to go out there and recruit? I said yes. I don't care what happened at the end of the O era or at Florida. Back here under a very structured environment with Kelly in year 3, with guys like Frank Wilson on staff, even in the NIL era, we saw him go out and beat Oregon and Miami, 2 of the teams of the deepest pocketbooks in the NIL era. Heads up. Win against them both, and both of them had momentum at different points, and LSU outlasted them. So I think really kudos to Corey, but top down, this staff, what they've done NIL-wise, what they've done to just pitch these guys on the plan that they have. And I think that moving forward, we've said it, D-line and corner were the 2 spots that they had to have impact guys at. They reel in a top 100 guy already in Zion Williams as a DT. They've got another 4-star in Brandon Brown, another guy committed most recently in Dylan Battle. Then you've got 2 top 100 edge rushers that are committed in Jesse Harold and Damian Shanklin. So Matty B, I think so far so good, right? I mean, we're 6 months into this new staff, defensive staff being here, and I'm listing off a highlight reel of the who's who of players at those positions that are now committed to LSU.
I believe this puts them now at 16 4-stars to go with 3 5-stars as far as industry.
They're knocking on the door to hit 20 guys who are blue chips. So
unbelievable.
5-star.
That is incredible, right? Like most people, when you look at blue chip like ratios or anything like that, it's like if you're over 50%, you're obviously doing very well. If you're over 60%, you're doing great. With I believe it's 23 commits now. We're at 19 blue chips.
It's in the 23-4 range. Yeah, so 19-20, about to hit 20 blue chip guys is insane. And look, guys will continue to move up. Kade Phillips skyrocketed on 3 to be knocking on the door of top 50. Does he continue to move up? Carius Kern and Tyler Miller, 2 of their offensive linemen, are knocking on the door of 5-star status. So top to bottom, yes, top heavy. The lads sign more 5-stars in this class than they have at any point in the Brian Kelly era. But top to bottom, this is one of the better classes LSU's put together. Pins have not hit paper yet,
Yeah.
but with the guys they have on board, like I said, from number one down to the 20-something guy on the commit list, all of them are solid takes. You understand it. You see why they want them. They're addressing depth at positions they really needed it. And we're obviously talking about the breaking news of Kade Phillips, but like this class has Bryce Underwood, the number one overall player
Yeah.
in it. It's got the number one running back in Harlan Berry, the number one corner in DJ Pickett. Twice, Tyler Miller and Karis Kern, two of the offensive linemen committed, were ranked at number one. There's been sort of a carousel there of who is the number one interior offensive lineman. And again, Matty B, in the NIL era, in the portal era, whatever, all this kind of changes to college football, they're sitting in the top three, and all three of these teams have been ranked number one at some point since January, and nobody but these top three teams have been. Ohio State, Bama, LSU, and Georgia's there at 4. So you're putting yourself in the company of the elite, right? Like that's, if you're signing top 5 classes every year, that's who you're surrounded by, and they're trading blows with them. So I think this is a really good time to be an LSU recruiting fan because they are absolutely hitting on all cylinders. And now you're going into these guys' senior seasons with 20 plus commitments. You're not banking on, hey, come signing day, hopefully we can pull off 5 or 6 guys, or hey, as the season goes on, we need to flip, 5 or 6 more guys. They've set it up well to where, hey, look, we can close on a few guys, we'll swing for the fences on others, but no matter what, they built a top 5 class.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
I'm good. I'm glad we had to hop on to the breaking news of this. Kade Phillips to LSU, flipping from Texas just about a month after he committed to the Longhorns, going into East Texas, grabbing a DB, something Corey Raymond is no stranger to, but pulling this one off was massive. Again, this has been in the works for about a week now, a little over that. So both the LSU and Texas sides knew this was developing. It kind of got kept quiet, but just for those wondering, like, will this stick type of thing? Texas knew that this was happening. They had their chance to rebound, and Phillips made his decision and said, hey, look, I'm sticking to it. I'm flipping to LSU. So a really, really big day for the future of the cornerback room in this class.
Yeah. All right. For all of that and more, subscribe to the Bengal Tiger On3. Come join our community over there on the message boards, on obviously daily content going up over there on recruiting, all the insight on fall camp. Football season's here, so subscribe to the Bengal Tiger if you haven't already. At the very least, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave us a like, comment, share, and send to a friend if you haven't already. We appreciate y'all for joining us. You got anything else, Shay? Oh, I thought you were
That's
about
it.
to say
I don't know if
something.
I can do any of the.
No, it's all right.
You turned it off?
I didn't turn it off.
Usually balloons come up. I was trying to celebrate a flip.
That's all right.
All right.
We'll put it in the thumbnail.
Yes. We'll go hang out on the Bengal Tiger. And we've got also, if there's a new team recruiting pod out, or team pod out, talking about practice, all that. Matty B's been at every one of them. So after the most recent scrimmage, we'll get to hear a little bit more from him. So go back and check that one out as well when you're on the page. But shout out to everyone. What do you do, Matty B? Like, subscribe, and maybe most importantly, hit up the BengalTiger.com. Come follow us over on 3, where we spend all day on the message board and writing stories and tidbits and breaking news like this.
There you go. Nice job outroing us. All right.
There you go.
We will talk to you later.